What's going on, good people? What's cracking? My bad, running a little late today. Thought I was gonna be on time. I know I'll be on black people time sometimes. My bad. You know how I go. What's good though? What up with you? What up with you? Got some more people joining. Now, I won't be joined by my co-host tonight, but I still want to learn about this, right? So, can y'all hear me? If y'all can hear me, please let me know. Y'all can hear me. But I've been learning about this about soul ties, and a lot of people say it's a heavy subject. You know what I mean? So I kind of wanted to delve into this topic because this is something that I found to be very interesting. Um, Now I've talked to a lot of people about it. I posted about it. Um, Now one of the things I do want to know is, are there different kinds of soul ties? And I looked up, some of the stuff. So one of the definitions I got was, a soul tie is an intense spiritual connection between two people that results in a mutual learning experience. The concept of a soul tie has gained steam on TikTok and among the Gen Z population, who are increasingly looking outside the bounds of organized religion for answers to life's big questions. So I get a lot of different answers when uh I look up soul ties, but a lot of it ends up going back kind of to religious beliefs. Because here it says it's a spiritual, emotional connection you have to someone after being intimate with them, usually engaging in sexual intercourse, to the point that when you want to get rid of them from your mind and your life, even when you are far away from them and out of their presence, you still feel as if they are part of you and a part of you is with them, causing you to feel unwhole, as if you've given up some of yourself untangible that cannot be easily possessed again. That's a serious definition right there. And I want to see, because I usually don't hear a lot of dudes talk about it. I know Mikey talk about it a lot because it's something he read up on. But I for me, like, I really looked into it more, not necessarily on the not necessarily on the spiritual side, but like just seeing how it can be. And see right here, another one says it's a new age belief. Soul ties are not in the Bible. Jonathan and David's friendship and shall become one flesh are not about soul ties. See, I didn't even know that people went this serious with it, for real, for real. Um, it's all different things, but ultimately, the gist of it I get is, people, after you have sex with someone or you intimate with someone, a part of you becomes attached to them and vice versa. Now, for me, I don't know. Um, I don't know that I'm connected to anybody. Um, I don't feel like I am. I'm connected to my wife, but that's what I should be. You know what I mean? Shout out to my boo. It's 13 years on Sunday. You know what I mean? But I like, so I guess our souls are tied. You know what I mean? But is this a real thing? Like, I'm asking people, If y'all on here and you watching, please comment. Let me know. Is this a real thing? Because for me, I just, I look at it like if it's something you believe in, then it's something you believe in. And like people say, you have to break the soul tie, but I've heard people say it really, if it can be broken, it wasn't really a soul tie. So some people calling it a soul tie and it not really understanding the definition of it for real, for real. Could that be the I'm trying to add somebody, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm doing two things at once. It's usually be easier because Mikey be talking and then I can do whatever. But so y'all comment, let me know. Because like I said, I'm looking at different definitions, and ultimately it could be. Ashley, you want me to add you to the conversation? I see you in here. You want me to send you the link? Because I would like to hear your view on it. If you down, I'm ready to send you the link. But I don't, anybody else, if y'all down to join the conversation, please do. Because like I said, I don't know. I just something I hear people talk about frequently. They talk about soul ties and what they are and what they mean. Yeah, it is. Like, I mean, I'm asking because I really want to know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, what's going on, Tamara? Tamara Johnson joining us, always out here in the comments with us. But y'all tell me, you know what I mean? Like, if there's any dudes out there that want to join, any other ladies that want to join the conversation, the question is, explain to me about soul ties. I want to learn about soul ties. And I've been reading up on it, and I kind of went over the definitions a little bit on what they were. Like, I see a lot of people talk about it, but I've also, like, some people say it is biblical, it's related, and a lot of people say it's not. Some people say it's really not that's really, you just got to learn how to get over people. I had somebody say that today when I talked about it at work today. You just got to learn how to get over people. Ain't no such thing as no soul tie. But I've had people say it's really not a soul tie if it can be broken. So that's why I'm asking what's going on. Um, and I found out about symptoms, the 7 symptoms of soul ties, breakdowns of communication, loss of individuality, failure to see the humanity of others, the inability to recognize suffering, shame, cowardice, and fear. These are things that come along with soul ties or having soul ties to somebody. Is that because you taken on that person's, you know what I mean? You taking on that person's some of that person's, and who said that? Something. Who is this right here? Remember, when you join the conversation, if you jump out of the live, it should be a link for you. All right, I'm ready to send you the link, Monica. Hold on. But I don't know who this is right here. There's many facets to it. Whoever that is, I can't see what it says. It says Facebook user. But like I said, I just been reading up on it. Like, and all of this stuff that I'm looking at now is stuff that I've been reading up on and listening to, and I made notes. Oh, okay, that was you that said that, Monica. No, I know that was you for the guest. I'm saying, who? All right, I'm sending the link to your messenger so you can join. Because I definitely want to hear some people definitions of this. Now, oh, you wrote that comment. Yeah. Soul ties are real. If something isn't real, how can it be broken? Yeah, true that. Like I said, I just been going by what I've been going by what I read, and so far I don't, like I haven't seen anything that I can't say I've seen anything that makes me say that maybe I've had that situation. Um, See, like a lot of people say it's abusive relationships. Um, what up, Ashley? Hold on. What's
What's
going
going
on,
on?
Ashley?
Not
What up, though?
much.
So I'm
Shit.
talking about this soul tie shit. You know what I mean? Like I said, I've been since the last time when we was last on last week, I've been looking up and reading and listening to, and I ultimately like it's I don't know. Like, what do you get when somebody says soul ties? When you hear that phrase, what does that phrase mean to you?
Like a bond and connection that you share with somebody. Like you posted a video the other day, and I sat and watched it, and I was like, damn, that's crazy because I didn't even realize that I had built soul ties with people. When they said when you going out somewhere just to see if that person there, because you know that person gonna be there, and like how you be checking your phone and all that in hopes that they call you and text you. I'm like, damn. Like that shit had me thinking I had to go back and rewatch it just to make sure I wasn't tripping. But I
Right.
was like,
Okay.
so how do you break this? So then I went to TikTok, TikTok talking about,
Right.
therapy and praying and stuff is how you break these soul ties. And I'm like, well, okay. But I don't, some people say soul ties can't be broken, but I feel like they can. For instance, this one dude, my world revolved around him. And I got put in a situation where it made me distance myself from him. And in that process, that soul tie just started disintegrating. And I'm like, cool, that's exactly what I needed. So, can soul ties be broken? Yeah. Can you still be friends with somebody after a broken soul tie? Yes, I feel like you can because I don't feel like you still connected to that person on that level.
Now, see, okay, because I've heard people say, like a lot of people said they are real, but it's not a soul tie it can't if it can be broken. It wasn't really a soul tie, is what you think it might be. But is this one of those things that you can only gauge based on how you feel? Or is this something that you really have to sit down and look up and read up on and study to see if this is something that happened? I mean, is this something you can learn basically based off of just basic knowledge? Like somebody saying, "Oh, you got soul ties. That's what's wrong with you." Or is this something you really got to go and look up and see if this is really you know what I mean?
Hmm.
If this is really was getting to you. And I don't, like I said, for me, and see, that's the same thing I say too, though, Tamara. I don't think that's a dumb question. Can you have soul ties without sex?
Yes.
You
Most
can.
definitely. I feel like you can because you connect with people not just through sex. You can connect with somebody, your soul can connect with somebody just through conversation. Like when you say you
Uh,
vibing with somebody, you vibing with them. You can connect with somebody without having sex with them.
yeah, you can vibe with them, but so you mean so basically more like on a spiritual connection?
Yeah, yeah,
Is it
yeah.
always? I mean, so you mean without physical connection at all, spiritually though, you can get you can become connected to that person. You think?
Mhm. I think so.
I don't know. Like I said, that's why I'm asking. I want people to jump in the conversation. Please, please, please feel free to join the conversation. let me know. I just don't see it. I mean, I see it. I can understand if I can't tell a person what they went through or how they feel about something that they went through. Like that's just dumb. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
the way it seems to me is the only thing I see speaking about it is physical, but you not somebody else answered, and I think it was D answered when I posted and said that you can develop a connection with somebody just from based off of a conversation or some shit that happens
Mm-hmm.
or a moment or whatever. But it's like to the point where that person walks away and you feel like part of you is gone. That's
I
what I'm
mean,
saying.
it depends on how deep your conversation is. I can remember sitting back and blowing one with a homeboy, and we like that connection was just there. When we parted, it was like, yo, what the fuck was that? And this was all without being intimate with him, where we connected. Like the sex ended up happening, but before then, that connection was just out of this world before we even got that far.
Word. All right.
Like sometimes it's all about mind fucking somebody before you actually fuck them.
So that person you was now that person you was connected to that person.
Mm-hmm.
That's different. That's different. I think that's Monica. Yep. We got Mo at the door. What up? What up? Let me let Mo in. What's good?
Hey
What's
fam.
going on? What's going on? What up though?
Fantastic. When I seen the soul ties, I was like, hold on. I said, let me I was on the phone, right? I got the notification. I said, wait man, I gotta call you back because fam talking about soul ties. I think I might could be an asset to the conversation. So I literally
I
got off the phone.
and I absolutely appreciate it because, like I said, for me, everything I've been reading about, I haven't really read much about it being someone that you connect to just without any type of physical interaction.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I basically opened up this conversation. Because like I said, Mikey know more about it than I do. Because he
Okay.
studied it, he studied this a lot longer. But I've literally been studying this for maybe like a week or so.
Okay.
So I like I said, everything I'm reading now is things that I've seen or read. But I wanted to have somebody else on here that might know a little bit more about this because um like I said, I just want to learn. I want to see because I don't feel like I've ever had that. I say the only one I might have, the one I feel like I may have one to is to my wife, but I just we're not apart. So that's that's my I'm sorry, I'm sending a link to somebody.
Well, that's
But
okay.
that's my whole experience with it. So that's why I wanted to have the conversation about it. And like I said again, you know, my the bro was way more, you know, he comprehended this a lot better than I did as far as it goes. So that's why I'm just inviting everybody on. But when you hear that, what do that phrase mean to you when you hear soul ties?
I mean, soul ties is real. Now, the person that say it ain't real, you can't tell them that it's not because if they think it's not real, who are we to tell them that it's not? Because that's their idea, that's their perspective, and maybe that's their experience. But I'm coming from an aspect of understanding the spirit realm and in the facet of seeing it live in living color, not just the soul tie, but the soulish realm and the spirit realm that we live in, that we coexist in right now. And so a lot of times I think that we only look at the physicalities of everything, not really understanding that the real us is spirit. Because if your spirit left your body, you wouldn't have life. You can take your heart out and put it in another body. But when if your spirit leave your body, you have no more life.
Big facts.
So the real you is spirit. So one of the things that's how let me I so I think it'll be good to go this direction first before we go to the other side of it. So when you look at the fact that, you know how you see two people and they be like, he remind me of Craig. It ain't Craig. But the person reminds you of them. They act like them. They do the things like them. It's a spirit. It's familiar. Another thing, what happens is that then something happens to you and it triggers you, and then to where as though it creates a familiarity because something happened a long time ago that you connect with. It has the same type of essence. It's a spirit. And so we all encounter cycles of spiritualization and the aspect of how we process through life. Because if you look at the seasons of your life, just like they change winter, spring, summer, fall, you have a season when you got high highs, you got seasons when you got high lows, but then where does it come from? And then how you respond in it, that's a spirit. So we don't talk about it because most times, I guess in our culture, we don't talk about it because we just don't. I can't say why, but because I don't know. You was ready to say something?
No. I'm listening to you. Like I said, for me, it's all I can go by is the things that I've been, reading the past few days about it, and like the symptoms, like the seven signs you have, and this is another one I found. 7 signs you have a soul tie. You feel connected on a deeper level. They elicit strong reactions from you. They feel familiar. You just said that. You may feel like they complete you. Your relationship feels unique or one of a kind. They showed up at a significant time.
All right. So listen, let me say this. I don't necessarily, I agree with them to be things, but let's just keep it simple. The highest form of creating a soul tie is sex, but it's not the only way to create a soul tie. Soul ties come from connectivity. Connectivity could mean that you created let's say if you just had a homeboy and that's your homeboy and y'all hang together all the time, y'all talk to each other all the time, and then people start saying, man, you act like Tommy, because y'all connected and you start to take on the mannerisms because there is a connection. And then how you know the connection is real, because all of a sudden you and Tommy used to talk to each other all the time, hang out all the time. That's your best friend. And then now all of a sudden the dynamic shift, you feel the shift in the relationship. Because a soul tie does not have to be the opposite sex or have to be sex oriented in order for it to be created. It's based upon connection. So then when the relationship starts to change, you feel some kind of way because it's changing. And so that's how you know you have a soul tie in that regard. But the highest form of having a soul tie is sex. This is the highest form of intimacy that we can actually have. We have intimacy in conversation. Intimate conversation can create a soul tie because then people get connected to the fact that they could talk to this person about stuff they've never been able to. So then it opens them up to be like, oh my God, that was so great. So it creates the intimacy, but it creates the connection because that thing, that level of vulnerability had a place to sit.
Okay.
And so then it creates a connection. That's how you be like, oh my girl, we talked for hours, girl. And it was so good, girl. So the person already feel connected because of what matriculated just by conversation. But it starts in the spirit realm, in the facet of you allowing your spirit to be open enough to receive a connection from another person. So then you have the highest form is the sexual intercourse of it. 2 people create a soul tie because they had the highest form of intimacy. And then you take on the statutes of the other person because you literally, men deposit and women receive. And so then therefore you receive all that he is or all that he's not. Because you can get the good attributes and the bad ones. He could be insecure and then you wake up don't understand why you feel like you feel because he was insecure. So there's a transference of spirits when it's that type of soul tie.
Okay. All right. What's going on? We got Pookie in the building with us. Miss Anissa Hassan, formerly known as Pookie. Excuse me. I see you got it all right there. You got to unmute your mic.
I'm sorry, y'all.
You good?
How everybody
What's going
doing?
on? What's going
Hey,
on?
beautiful.
How are you?
But we already started, kind of got into the conversation a bit about soul ties, and I Ashley gave me her feeling about it. Monica gave me hers, so I'm gonna ask you when you
Most of
hear.
mine up.
You said what?
I said most of mine up. As soon as I got in here, I said, "Well, dang, she took mine." But
Yeah,
My bad, sis.
yeah.
it
But
it's nice. Go ahead, see. I'm sorry.
no, I was saying, go ahead. No, for me, like I said, I've just been reading up on it. Like I wanted to have people on here that speak more about it because, like I said, I've been talking about it, and Mikey talked about it, and he was like, "Yo, you just gotta." He said, "It's too much for me to explain." He's like, "You gotta read it." So I've been reading it, and like everything I've been reading, I've been researching, I've been putting together to make sure that I got it here for the conversation. And like I got, it's a bunch of, it's different types of soul ties. Like I heard, like I saw about one. It's a protective soul tie, can form when somebody swoop into your life during an insanely difficult period, save you from pain you going through. um you may find yourself getting more and more attracted to them until a soul tie happens.
What
Then
is
like
that called again?
that is called a protective soul tie.
Okay. Now
Then
I've never seen soul ties breaking down into a type. So
right,
that's something I would love to research myself. I think that with
I'm
this,
sorry, you guys. Hold on for just 1 second.
you good.
so
Oh,
see, I think that with this one, I think that it will be this topic. I think this a big deal.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is not going to be the only time we talk
Yeah,
about it. Like,
like
I'm gonna have to break this down into
yeah.
parts. I just wanted to get to the origins of it and what people's beliefs are on it. So that's why I say anybody that's listening or watching that want to join the conversation, you absolutely can. And then they got, of course, they got the sexual soul tie, which happens when you are physically intimate with somebody. Then they have one called a permanent soul tie. It would happen without the knowledge of either of the people involved. However, they will find out about it soon enough and may commit into making their connection work. Is that one of
So
them?
how is it? So how somebody have a soul tie without knowing and it's permanent?
Exactly. So so you see where I'm
Because
going
that
with it.
sounds like witchcraft.
You see where I'm going with it. Like, oh,
Yeah.
is that more or less like a fate type of thing?
I don't know because then that's not necessarily soul tie. That's just fate. That ain't necessarily a soul because a soul tie it's consensual. Even if you don't understand, you're consensual that you actually said yes to the soul tie. When you
And
do whatever the act is, it creates the soul tie. No matter the
right,
sexual or physical, it creates the soul tie. So once you
right.
participate in it, then you give it consension. You feel
Oh,
what I'm
so
saying? So I
and they
don't
say that
understand that one. I would send that to
they
me when you get a chance
I
so I
will.
can
soul
look at
ties
it.
can also be possessive.
And that's what
They
I'm
could be possessive. They can also be spiritual. The thing is, like, when you have a soul tie, like I have a soul tie, and I have a toxic soul tie, and everybody might say that sounds bad, but my soul tie is something that me and my other half understands. If you were to look inside of our relationship, you'd be like, they're crazy. What is going on? But only we know what's going on. You get what I'm saying? Like we are
absolutely.
connected. Um, we are connected in a sense of me wanting him to do better and him wanting me to do bad. You get what I'm saying? But all at the same time, those negative and the negative and the positive is not mashing, but it's just for us. Like we got this thing where I can tell him, listen, I need you to level up and get right. And he'll tell me, well, I need you to tone down and just chill out because I'm all right. And I'm like, okay, and it works for us. But all in the same time, everybody else would look at it like if they just don't leave each other alone. Even my mother said, like, my mother a big stickler on that relationship. She don't get in it, but she like, something is wrong with y'all. And I'm like, mine is nothing wrong with this relationship right now. Nothing at all.
That don't sound like a soul tie. That just sounds like the dialogue in which y'all create your relationship.
No, I don't know how to really like explain it, but like we connected in the way we move, in the way we think. and the way we present ourselves to each other and outside. Like I don't know how to explain it. But
It's
I
Like you
know when I
said,
looked
it's
it
a
up,
soul tie, but like you said, it's toxic because I've been saying that a lot where people have toxic soul ties.
yes.
right, it's toxic.
Yeah,
So
because if so,
like
then let me ask you this question. So if you say that you have a soul tie with this man that you with him, but then he says you could say, "Hey, I need you level up so you could do better." But then on the other side, he don't want you he don't want you to prosper. What makes you still is it? Are you saying that's what make you stay in that
but
relationship?
the potential in him makes me stay.
So then what about
Because
him
at the end of
learning?
the day, it's just a phase that he goes through, and then when I can look back and I can look back at him and he doing things that I'm like, okay, I appreciate you. You get what I'm saying? Like you leveling up, but I need more from you. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I'm talking about the portion that you had said that you rooting for him, but he wants you to fail. You said that earlier. So I'm asking you,
Right.
is
Like
that what
no, I
makes you
said he want me to tone down some, like chill out. You
no
get what I'm
before
saying?
no before that when you first got on the convers when you first came in the room, you said that you be wanting him to level up and he be wanting you to fail.
Right.
Right.
No,
Okay.
he be wanting me to like tone down,
Oh, okay.
like chill out, like level a little bit. But I be wanting him to level up, like think bigger. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
but
like I don't understand. I
I'm trying to find
can't
I was just trying
explain
to find
it.
a correlation of what make it a soul tie. That's all.
I
And
can't explain it, but it's definitely a soul tie. Like only
and
me and him understand it, and only me and him, only I will go through it with him.
Right.
Like I'm not gonna sit here and disconnect myself with him and move on with somebody else and say, okay, well, let me try this. I'm not doing that. I'm already soul tied to him. I'm not
Right.
doing that.
I can dig it. And they say the permanent soul tie is usually mostly experienced by married couples. So that's why I said that may be the one that I feel. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
then they say it's a spiritual soul tie. This happens when the connection between you becomes deeper than your emotions, feelings, and body reactions towards yourselves. A spiritual soul tie is considered to be the deepest of all. While
Yeah.
breaking soul ties isn't easy, it is not impossible at the same time.
Nope. And
Right.
I honestly could say I've experienced toxic. I've experienced a lot of different types of soul ties, but I do know that soul ties can be broken, and it
Hmm.
depends on the type of soul tie and the depth of the soul tie and the facet of actually the soul tie being broken. I actually had talked to somebody that was in a relationship and it was toxic, and they didn't want the soul tie anymore, and so there were things that I shared with them, and I can't say I'm a soul tie expert, but I can tell you from experience in the facet of being sorry about that, my phone rang, being set free from a certain type of thing, because we know what toxicity really is, and it can be very damaging, and not just to your life, but to your nervous system. And a lot of times we don't know how trauma equates in our body, in our minds, and all the things that what we go through, how it really affects our body and the way we do life and relationships, because we could say that something is toxic, we could say that something is a soul tie, and we can acknowledge it as such, but do we take the time to see it for what it is and the effects of how it affects our life?
Okay. I can dig that.
So let
Absolutely.
me
Right.
ask a question because earlier you were stating how when you like get out of a relationship or whatever and you comparing your ex to your current and stuff. So what if
Uh-huh.
you feel like you broke a soul tie with somebody and you go into your next relationship and you currently making your current partner like your ex? Does that mean you haven't completely broken that soul tie with your
I would
ex?
I would say if you broke a soul tie, but then you go into a next relationship trying to recreate that person to be the last person, I don't think that that's a soul tie. I would say that's kind of obsessive. Because then what is it about the old person that you're trying to recreate with the new person? You could say that there's still a soul tie there. So then we can't say that the soul tie was broken. I think that evidence that a soul tie is broken is because it's levels to everything. So in the initiality of breaking a soul tie, it hurt like something like nobody business. And then over time, it gets easier. But then it becomes one day you forgot all about the person. And then to where as though something could trigger you to think about him. But I think that if you are trying to recreate your new relationship to be like your old relationship, then I think that's kind of obsessive in the facet of not giving the new person the chance to be who they are to you versus who you want them to be. Because how do you know that the relationship really substantiates the properties that you want if you try and make it like it used to be? And if what you used to have was so good, why you ain't there?
Mm-hmm.
Do that make sense?
It does. I was
Absolutely.
just asking. I can
It
dig
does.
it.
Yes, ma'am.
Complete sense.
Because with women, why like so let's go back real quick. So you know the Bible states that you don't supposed to have sex before you get married. Now
Mm-hmm.
I could break this down in a lot of facets to where so I could give you some revelation in that place. So let's say one of the reasons why it's important not to have sex before you get married is that then you don't have nobody to compare him or her to. So you can't say that it was good or bad. You just know this is your experience. Another thing is in the facet that when you're married to somebody, the concept is that you're in covenant. So this is the only person you're going to have sex with. So that's your connection. That's between you and that person. But then what happens is that in the creation of the soul tie, it brings a different dichotomy when you having sex with somebody that ain't your husband or your wife and they get to leave. They don't have to come back. So now you created an intimate soul tie with a person you have no relationship with. And guess what? In sex education, they always say you had sex with who they had sex with and who they had sex with. So that's the natural part. Remember I said we always talk about the natural the natural things of life, but the real us is spirit. So we're in duality. That means we're physical and we're spiritual at the same time. And so what happens though, if we have sex with who they have sex with, in a natural, how is that possible, right? But then they show us how because of the spirit of connecting with a whole bunch of people. Just you had sex with this one person, they had sex with 10 people, and them 10 people had sex with all them people, and then it just keep creating bigger numbers. And then that's why when you get up after sex, you go ahead take a bath because you try and get something off you. It ain't on you, baby, it's in you. And so the issue is that now these spirits that have incubated your body because you gave the spirit realm access to have another place to dwell. And so what happens when your spirit opens up and now they're trying to see where they can fit at. So you're uncomfortable for a couple days or 2 or 3. You ain't back to yourself yet. So you're trying to adjust to what's going on newly in your spirit because these spirits don't belong to you. All of us have different spirits that incubate our bodies in the process of what we've been through. But then when we have sex with other people, we introduce their stuff into our space. And that's how the soul tie is created because we open ourselves up to people don't know really what they're dealing with because people always will tell you what they want you to know. But then when you dealing with somebody, you have sex and you know that you're doing things that you normally don't, that ain't your stuff, baby. That's something that they dealing with. So yeah.
So when you say that's spiritual and not natural,
yeah,
a spiritual soul tie, right?
yes, spiritual soul
So
tie.
it's not natural,
No, not at all.
right?
Because I even read it somewhere and it was like, that's why you need to think about who you having sex with and you wonder why your energy be off sometimes.
Yes.
Because if you laying down with somebody and they constantly being negative, you taking that negative energy into you.
Yes.
So
absolutely. It's called transference of spirits.
Yeah, I've heard. Now I definitely heard of that. I've always heard transfer the energy though, but I'm guessing this is the same thing. Spirits, energy.
Because
you know what I mean?
in the world of religion, in the Bible, and and all of those things, they call it spirits. But in normal life, they call it energy, but it's the same thing. Because energy and spirit, it's the same thing. They just call it something different. That's all. So all of it's transference of spirits. That's just like I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was saying how somebody walk in the room and be like, "Hey, y'all," and they just got low energy. It make you respond to them like, "Hey," but then somebody else come in the room, you like, "Hey," you like, "What's up?" It creates a different energy.
And
It's
that's
the
what
same.
that's something I told myself, like when it comes to energy wise. I said I was gonna always try to make sure when I walk in the room, my energy is positive. When I'm speaking there, I speak to everybody, say what's good, see how everybody doing, how you doing, how you feeling, all that good shit. But this topic, like I said, for me, it was more about if this is something that is very, very heavy, like can it be broken? One, two, where did it originate from? Which is what we got into, and the different types. I didn't know it was different types, but it's different types apparently. Now, you said one thing you said, Mo, was men give and the women receive.
Yes.
So how does the man receive the tie?
I can't necessarily say that I know that because I don't. Because I'm speaking from research and my own experience. Because that's just the same way as a man. I can't say a man don't have a soul tie. Because I think that they do have a soul tie, but I can't say that I know how it's identified within the man. But I do know this: men deposit. That's why they always come back and try to get a withdrawal. And what I mean by that is, you have sex with a man, that's a deposit. You might don't see him in 2 days, 3 days, 2 months, and then he come back and think he can come back because he made a deposit. And
So
what makes you let him take a what make you let him take a withdrawal is because of the deposit that he left in you. And sometimes it's without your own permission spiritually. Like you could like out your mouth. You like, I ain't fooling with him. But the soul tie is what make you let him back in even when you don't want to.
right. Well, so I mean, for men, I just looked it up real quick while we sitting here talking about it.
Uh-huh.
And it says one, the mind is affected. Two, manipulation is perceived. As a rule, men can be as vulnerable to emotion as women, especially when it reaches a particular level of intensity. Three, friendship is lopsided. Is even if this is a close friend relationship, it's challenging to allow yourself to be free, to be who you are, or express genuine emotions. And it went back into do they last forever? But I guess this is for men.
What is
Toxicity
that? I'm sorry.
Toxicity forms. When the soul tie becomes toxic, it can create adverse reactions in partners, including jealousy and anger. That can include either men or women answering the question, do soul ties affect? Okay. So, I mean, I guess it affects men differently. Um, it's, I don't know, there's no longer a sense of self or individuality. Values and morals are being neglected. Fantasies and desires go against your grain. Insecurity and low self-esteem set in.
You know
So
what?
I guess that's how men are affected, or those are the 10 types of ways soul ties can affect men.
Okay. What I want to do is, because I like the topic, and I could say a lot more, but then that's in a different type of conversation. But I would like to do some research and then let's come back and talk about it.
I was going to ask y'all next week, do y'all want to join us again next week so we can get into the part 2 of this? Because like I said, for me, I wanted to get into the origins of it and just what I've learned and what I've researched so far. But apparently, like I said, and Mikey said that though, he said it's not going to be a one conversation deal. He said you're going to have to do this. We have to stretch this out. So then hopefully he'll be able to join us with the next conversation. But yeah, I would love if y'all all, if you want to look up more about it and then join the conversation. We're going to have a part 2 about this. It'll probably be 4 parts, but I don't even know. That's the good thing about doing this. You can have as many parts as you want.
And Ken, so and fam, when you get a chance, send me the
Oh yeah.
Yeah, send me that them two. It was two of them. And then anything that you want me to research,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna go ahead. Like I like the topic.
It's on a lot of it I got was from marriage.com. That's where a lot of it came from. Talking about the soul ties. Hold on. Cause it won't my phone is stupid. But then faithgiant.com. I read stuff there. Psychicblaze.com. Herway.net. I don't know how I feel about that one, but I mean, yeah, I'll send you them once we
once you get on.
yeah. And I
Okay,
watched
no problem.
what's the guy name on Facebook? Something Evans. I want to say Jonathan Evans on YouTube. He talked a lot about soul ties.
Okay.
But like I said, for me, I guess the one that I have is because I'm married. You know what I mean? So I guess that's maybe why my range is more limited, or why I don't know about or can speak to the effect of them. You know what I mean? I do know we were separated at one point, and I did have some moments where I felt like, why am I sitting here? Why am I not? You know what I mean? So
Right.
I'm thinking that maybe that's what it was. You know, like that played a part in it.
Yeah, because you create a life with somebody or a regimen or a day-to-day with them, it create a connection.
Right.
Which is what create the soul tie.
So I mean, and that's the wild part is me and Kamala known each other since we was 6 years old. So maybe our souls been tied for a while. Like, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I mean, that's one of them things to think about. But I for me, again, like I'm glad that I appreciate y'all joining me, because I like, and that's one thing I don't see a lot, because I guess people see me and Mikey talking and they just be like, oh Lord, but like we want to hear what women have to say about certain stuff. Like we want to hear y'all's point of view. We want to hear y'all's opinion. We want to hear like what y'all think about the same shit we talk about, because at the end of the day, we can only speak from our perspective. You know what I mean? We can only speak from the perspective of men, fathers, uncles, grandfathers, brothers. You know what I mean? Sons. We can't speak from the woman's perspective. We can never understand things the way that y'all do, and vice versa. You know what I mean? Like we all receive information differently, especially men and women. Because I've always told women are audio, men are visual. Like, I mean, I guess that is true. But Axel, what up, Axel? You should have joined the conversation, yo. But you can join next week though. We're gonna do part 2 about this next week. And because for me, like I've been kind of leaning towards a lot of spiritual stuff lately, like just researching and reading about, and just like I said, especially with energy. Like I definitely been energy and like just studying like motivational talk and different ways to talk to people to try to motivate them to do, you know what I mean, like to be a motivational speaker basically. But and a lot of it is based on energy, you know what I mean, and the type of energy you give, even based on the type of questions you ask. And just learning that and working in mental health for years, like you learn about how to just talk to people and try to keep a conversation in the now and current, and because if y'all notice, a lot of times when we be on here, Mikey talk, we both talk, but he talk more because he spent, like, a lot of the things we talk about, he spent more time, you know what I mean, like reading up on it. And because me, like, I read something and once I got the information on it, I'm like, all right, I that's something else new I learned. All right, I'm cool. And I'll go over it and skim back over it here and there every now and then. But like he studies a lot more than me when it comes to certain topics, especially shit dealing with this type of thing. But I've been working on that more. But like I said, for me, I guess dealing with learning about spirituality, because this is obviously a spirituality deal. And this is something that deal, like you said, this definitely deals with your spirit and the connection that you have with people and what you take away when you leave those people and what you leave with those people, You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
this is definitely a topic to hear. So I'm thinking the next round should be based on like you know how we understand them, how we begin to understand them. Because basically what we did tonight was just break down the different types and where it came
Right.
from. But like next week, I want to be able to talk about like when we develop an understanding of them and how we can develop a better understanding of them, or knowing that we have a soul tie, because we might have a lot of people walking around that feeling like they shouldn't be in a relationship or they're not good enough to be in a relationship, and it's not that. It's because
Right.
their soul is still tied somewhere else. Is that a
Yep.
possibility? Is
That
that the
is
Right.
possible.
Yes.
is that a that's a
It's
definition of a
Yeah,
definitely
soul
because
tie?
possible.
yeah, because you feel lost without the
It's
Right,
person.
right.
definitely possible.
Yeah. You feel lost without the person that you were connected to. Like innately, I'll say this in regards to like when I lost my mom. Like we don't think about the connectivity again in the spirit room of the person that carried you for 9 months and then gave birth to you, and then they're not here anymore. That's a broken. That is a form of a soul tie because you're connected, and so you literally feel
Wow.
lost,
Yeah,
like literally in real
yeah,
time. So that lets you know
yeah.
that you can feel lost from being disconnected for somebody you've been connected to. That's why some people bounce back from stuff and some people don't. Like it's
Absolutely.
real out here. And
That's wild.
I don't think sometimes we really think about what's happening and how people deal with stuff and even how to help them go through it and be a real friend, because it's a lot that's going on. That's why you got so many people killing themselves. You got so many people ODing. You got so many people strung out. It ain't that they woke up and they wanted to be these people, but they don't know how to deal with the trauma of their issues and the connectivities and the lack thereof. It's really a lot. And this soul tie thing is a good topic, but it goes so many different ways.
See, and that's why. So I gotta let Mikey know I appreciate him for telling, because at the beginning of it, he said that. He said, "Yo, it's gonna be." He said, "You can't just leave this to just one conversation." He said, "There's gonna be a bunch of conversations we're
Right.
gonna have to have."
Right.
That's why I said I'm glad we did this conversation tonight, this initial one, just to kind of break into what they mean. You know what I mean? And like I said, for me, I'm still learning too. But like I said, like I drive all day. So while I'm driving all day, I just turn on YouTube and I type in something and I just listen to, you know what I mean? Listen to it. And when I get a chance to sit and actually read something, then I do. But like I said, most of that information I got was just stuff listening to and jotting notes down. But I went to the different sites because I had to, like I said, I had to foot mark them. But when a lot of them came from marriage.com and thinkaloud.net. I got a lot of them from thinkaloud.net, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready to see if I can share this joint with you in a second too, Monica. Once I'm done, yeah, I can. But
Okay.
I definitely I like this is wild, man. And so do all I
Mm.
like I said, for me, I guess mine will be my can maybe let me see. Because I'm trying to make sure I'm asking the question, can you know that you have, can you do we refuse to break soul ties? Can we refuse to break them and be like I mean, whether consciously or subconsciously, like just refuse to break them when you holding on to
I
that little
think I think soul ties is also connected with separation anxiety. You get what I'm
okay,
saying? You don't want to be separated from someone too.
right,
Um
right, right, right,
uh
Uh,
because at
because
the
at the
end of
end
the
of the
day
day,
they'll
they'll
say
say
that
that
you
you
have
have.
I mean
I mean,
they'll say
there's
that, oh yeah, we have soul ties, but it's also separation anxiety. You don't want to be alone. You're used to that person, this, that, and the other. Like me, for example, I'm not gonna sit here and say that I had separation anxiety, but it do play a part somewhat. And like a little bit. Like everybody that I have I either lost and I try to hold on to. You get what I'm saying? Like not even I'm not even gonna say like a significant other. I'm talking about loved ones like my brother, my father that
right,
just
right.
passed. You get what I'm saying? They left me, and now I'm separated from them, and my soul tie with them was like unbelievable. And you know that for yourself. See, like me and Blue
Absolutely.
soul tie is like I'm his rib, although you so like your mate's supposed to be your rib. I'm his rib. You get what I'm saying? So I don't necessarily think that you can't break away from a soul tie. I think you can. Like you literally can break away from it. You can definitely see like yourself wanting to, but you just don't. You just don't want to let go. You know what I'm saying? Until you really feel like, okay, I gotta do this because this
Just
not
not
right.
right.
And you
And you
say
say
that to
that to
yourself
yourself
all the
all the
time,
time,
but what?
what?
Like
Like,
Wow, man. When we think, when we really think about it, like, and that was where I kind of wanted to go with it, to like round it all off. Like, do we refuse to break them sometimes? And like you said though, that's different though. You know what I mean? Your brother and your father, like, I can understand a reason of not wanting to break that tie, because those are men that showed you the standard of how a man is supposed to treat you. You know what I mean? In a
right,
way.
but you have to
So
break them too. They could because
yeah,
they're gone. And I'm not
yeah.
moving
True.
on. You get what I'm saying?
I get you. I get you.
I'm still like grieving. Like they always say, you're gonna grieve, it's gonna hurt, this, that, and the other. But I have to let myself go. You get what I'm saying? And I didn't let go. You get what I'm saying? Like I didn't let
I
go
can
of
dig
their
it.
death.
Right.
I'm still
Absolutely.
here, so I had to break free of it. You get what I'm saying? Like I gotta
Absolutely.
say, okay, they good and let me become good. But I can't become good because I still have these soul ties and I gotta pull away from them and I don't want to. You get what I'm saying? Like I refuse to
Understood.
do that. I'm
Absolutely.
not doing that.
Absolutely. And
So
again, for me, like I said, so next week we definitely got to go into the types, because the different types. So I got to look up the types a little bit more, look into the types of soul ties, because that's crazy to me. I would just assume a soul tie is a soul tie, regardless of how you get it. But even I've seen it even where, like, anybody watch Swarm? Did any of y'all watch Swarm?
Don't
I
talk
just
about
heard
it.
about
I'm
it.
on the first episode.
I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to talk
Is it
about
good,
it.
fam?
I did
I
I don't
don't
like it.
like it.
My
I'm
mom
gonna say
I did watch it.
I'm gonna
I'm gonna
say
I did
say
like
I did like
3
3
episodes. I
episodes.
like
I like.
I'm gonna
I'm gonna say
watch
watch it
it,
Okay.
because
I think
I think that deals with soul ties like heavy as hell.
Okay.
for real.
For real.
But
But that's all I'm gonna say.
All right, I'm gonna check it out only because it tied into this. Because I just heard about it, and then I saw that you will shut everything down. All right, I see you will say. So the thing of it is that with Michelle Obama's daughter was one of the writers.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, like, so that's what got my attention. And so I'm like, and then when in the salon today, they was talking. Yeah, I just found it out. And then in the salon today, they brought it up. And then now y'all bringing it up. So for me, like, I don't watch TV just to watch TV. I'm watching it because I want to see what I'm learning. Because there's always something to learn. You can learn perspective. You can learn personality. You can learn character. You can learn a lot. A movie can teach you a lot. But a lot of times we ain't listening.
All right, so
So-
don't look at none of my
posts
until y'all finish watching.
All right.
I didn't go heavy
into
into it.
I'm
But
gonna
yeah,
watch it. I'm ready to do my hair, so I got time today.
If you see anything on my post that say Swarm, just scroll past real fast.
That
shit threw me off like I'm trying. Listen, right? I was. And at first, I was telling Pamela, I said, "Yo, this is different. Like it, because they say it correlates a lot to. I couldn't say that. To Beyonce and the Beehive.
Oh wow.
And like her
But they're saying it's based on a
it's
true
super
story
fan.
though.
I
Yeah.
know, and I've been trying to find
But
it.
they just,
And I
I
can't
think they
find
just trying to relate it to modern day, Beyonce and stuff. But they was like, it's based on a true story. And when they talking about Swarm and the Beehive, everybody just assume Beyonce, but it ain't.
And that's what, and right, and that's what I said too. But I don't know anybody that like, okay, I gotta shut up because I've been to say some shit. I'm gonna be quiet on that. But
Only thing
for
I
real,
ain't
I've
liking
been to
about it
saying
in the
something,
first
yo.
episode though is that chick. She is off. She is off like shit to
You
me.
ain't
Like
seen shit.
she gonna
I'ma
be
say
the
No,
this,
I
you
reason
ain't,
don't
why
like
I
it.
you
might
ain't
not
seen
finish
shit.
watching it because she getting on my nerve, and I'm at the
Mo, I
end
You
of
don't
the
ain't
first
like
seen nothing
it.
yet.
episode.
You ain't
Mo,
seen
I
nothing
don't
yet.
Watch
like
the
it.
first 2 episodes and then call
I
me.
watched 3,
I
maybe
don't
even
know
4
how I'm gonna
of them.
get
I
that
don't
far.
like it. And no,
And
I
they only
don't like
listen,
it.
they
And
only
I
like
think,
45 minutes. So you can finish it
yeah,
in
Then I
like
feel
I
like
don't
45
I
like
gotta
for real,
keep
for real.
watching it because I done
Right.
watched so many and now I'm
There you
invested in
go.
it. That's the only reason why
There
I
you go.
don't end up watching the whole joint.
I didn't finish it. I
I
can't do that.
I thought it was a movie.
Well,
It's not.
I'm not a
It's a
fan of the
series.
Beehive, so I'm sorry. I'm
See,
not a fan
and
of the
see,
Beehive.
oh Lord,
And that
you better
probably
get that
has
shut
a
up.
lot to do with it too, because I'm not a fan of the Beehive. However, I am a fan of her
The Beehive gonna
music.
shut me down.
Beyonce's
Nah,
music only. I'm not a
nah.
fan of her. I like
Yeah,
her
that
music.
part.
That's it.
I get it.
And
I get what
I
you're
Yeah,
was
saying. Like you
mad.
not
I was
you
mad when I found out Cuff It was her song. I'm
yeah,
like, stop. That's my
yeah.
song. That's hers. I don't like her.
Right. I did not
but
know
I
that
mean,
either.
that's wild. But yeah, so you gotta watch that.
That.
But listen,
But
like
listen, like we
we rounding
we
out the
rounding
night,
out
and
the night,
usually
and
once we
usually
get
once
out the
we get out the
subject matter,
subject matter,
we just go
we
into
just
the
go
current
into the
events.
current
So now I
events. So
got
now I
y'all
got
here.
y'all here.
Yeah. So did y'all watch the Chris Rock special?
I still ain't watching
Oh, we
that.
can
I've been
definitely
waiting
talk
I
on
about
did
my
too.
that.
man to.
I did not heard that he went off on them. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I
We can
heard that he
definitely
went
talk
off on
about
them
that.
real bad.
Yeah, and
Yeah, and
it
it
was
was
uncalled
uncalled
for,
for,
Did I bring the other bed?
immature,
immature,
No, bring that.
and
And
late
ain't that terrible?
for
for
me.
me.
You say for you talking about the Chris Rock special?
Yeah, it was the end of it. All of it was funny until the end. I didn't like that 5 to 6, 7 minute diss. Like it was uncalled for, immature, and you were late. You should have been did your special. I'm quite sure a whole bunch of networks wanted you to go ahead and sign on and go ahead and do your thing after the smack. You didn't do that. You waited for a whole darn month to. No,
No, he
sir.
had
No,
to let
sir.
it die down and then come back and get his lip
How
back.
No,
many of
ma'am.
them?
He
No,
had let the
ma'am.
world think they forgot about
How
him
many
No,
of them
and got
ma'am.
his lip
networks? How
back.
many of them networks was gonna give him 40 million though?
No, ma'am. I'm quite
Netflix gave
sure
him 40
a
mil.
couple.
But
I'm
I say
quite
this
sure a couple.
for me,
I ain't like it.
for me, I don't really think he went fully into how he felt about it for real.
Right.
But the things that he said, I don't think he said anything that people haven't already talked about in the barbershop, in the hair salons, or wherever on social media. Like as far as her, and like everybody had been cheated on, but nobody's ever been interviewed by the person that cheated on them. Like that's real though. Like, and that really happened. And nah, like, do we get points for talking about it? No. Was it funny? It was a bit humorous because it's Chris Rock talking about it. Like, and
Right.
his react, like everybody, I feel like he did the right thing. I can't say I would have done the same. I can't say I would have let him slap me and
Right.
walk away. Like
Don't
I
even
think
have
I'd
to
have,
see me in the
I
streets.
think I'd have cleaned this shit with that mic stand.
Right.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have got off the stage. Like, but that's
But for
me though.
him being the iconic comedian, I'm sorry, I was waiting for the clapback immediately. I wasn't waiting for the clapback a year later. I was
Yeah.
waiting for it immediately. And at the end of the day, we have to remember that Netflix, Prime TV, even Tubi right now are like the main 3 streaming things that's happening right now. Main
Facts.
3
This is facts.
networks. Somebody was
Somebody was
gonna
gonna
grab
grab
them.
them.
Somebody was
Somebody
gonna
was gonna
grab it
grab
and
it
do
and
that
do that
stand
stand
up.
up.
But for
But for
him to
him to
do it
do it
like
like
no.
no.
Mm-mm.
And
Stop
that was
that.
a
That was
part
a
of it
part
for
of it
me.
for me.
I was
I
like,
was like,
this Will
Chris Will
Smith.
Smith.
I
I
knew
knew
it
it
wasn't
wasn't
because
because of what Chris Rock said.
He didn't
He
Right.
slap
didn't
Chris
slap
Rock
Chris
because of
Rock
what he
because of
said
what he
about
said
Jada
about
Pinkett.
Jada Pinkett.
Right.
Right.
He slapped Chris Rock because that was his chance to show the world that he was not a bitch. Excuse my language. But that he was not a punk, or he wasn't a soft pig. What everybody been calling him. Especially after that interview. You know what I mean? And this dude that cheated with your wife said that you gave him your blessing. And you had to live with that for a year and a half. And then all of a sudden, you got the one time to prove that he didn't want to slap Chris Rock. He wanted to slap Jada. Let's just keep it 100. Because if he really slapped Chris Rock, he'd have knocked Chris Rock the fuck out.
Right, but we have to remember that
he was slapping Jada.
Right.
And that's why
she have to remember that in her life.
She knew.
That's why I'm like,
Listen, am I lying though? Y'all laughing, but ain't nobody saying I'm lying.
What you say, fam?
Chris Rock didn't. Will Smith wasn't slapping Chris Rock. He was slapping Jada.
I think that I don't really get into the celebrity thing too much, because when you see them in real life, and that's a whole nother topic. But I think he smacked Chris Rock for a lot of reasons. I don't think that it was one thing or another. But I understand what you're saying, that he's smacking Jada because he wish he could hit her because of everything that's matriculated in a relationship. Right. But I think that Will smacked Chris Rock for a lot of reasons.
Because of that soul tie.
Yeah, exactly.
But remember, like every stand up that Chris Rock do, he always go after Jada.
That's what I heard.
If you look at some of his stand-up, most of his stand-up, he go at Jada. Like it's always a punch with Jada.
Maybe he might like her.
It wasn't until after. But I'm gonna say this because I watched Bigger and Black like last week. He didn't start talking about Jada Pinkett until she did that live where she said he should boycott the Oscars because Will Smith didn't get nominated for concussion. And he said, how are you going to tell me? How are you going to tell me to boycott something you're not even invited to? That's what started it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back.
I'm telling you. Any stand up he did after that? Yes. He did throw some darts.
Yeah, he did.
And which is like I say, at the end of the day, you can say whatever you want, but you gotta be prepared to deal with the response.
Yep.
He said what he said, and he got slapped in front of millions of people. Was he right? No, but again, you don't know what the next man going through.
He was done very.
I think he was in shock.
Do y'all know who? You say he was in shock.
Yeah. Like that first of all. Yeah, I mean, where you ain't expecting him to. It's almost like, did he just smack me? Like you almost have a delayed reaction. Like, is this real?
You ain't process it.
Heck yeah. And then, because I done had situations where somebody said something and God didn't let me process it in that time. Because probably if I did, it would have been different. So then later I'm like, they said, hold up. But if in the moment, if I really processed it like that, it would have been a whole problem. So think about this. What would it look like if Will Smith smacked him and he responded? Like that now, how that's gonna look? That would have looked real bad.
They both would have been blackballed.
Yeah. And then if we really believe that Will Smith Will Smith gonna really be blackballed for real in real time, then we really don't understand. because they'll say that. And then they're going to create a whole dichotomy around it because then it's going to make them money and then they make him bigger than he was at first. It's always an agenda. We're talking about celebrity life where everything is about a motive and agenda to create more income and money.
Right.
And so they create narratives in order to they create stuff to make stuff happen. For all we know, this could have been a publicity stunt for some reason. It could have been something to divert.
What it was.
Yes.
They be having all that shit going on the side, but they trying to develop that storyline.
Yeah, and to divert attention to something, because I don't really get caught up in the celebrity stuff. Because y'all, then when you meet them in real life, they something else. So you learn not to be. Go ahead.
No, I was saying
we're gonna round it out. I don't know if y'all
know who
Ron DeSantis is, right?
I don't.
Okay,
Ron DeSantis is a congressman, Florida. Ron DeSantis is trying to make abortion first degree murder. He is trying to eliminate all forms of conception, day after pill. He is trying to eliminate Black history in school.
But they pushing the LGBTQ right in school. But they trying to get rid of Black history.
Yeah,
but this is like, look at Ron DeSantis. He is trying to make abortion a murder charge.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Now, can we see that? Yeah. Does it have relevancy? Absolutely. But it also comes back to your choice. It's your life.
Right.
You have to live with the consequences of your choices. But for somebody to dictate what you can and cannot do, it makes it real, makes it not a world where we able to do what we want, and freedom ain't free.
Right.
When I went to the African American Museum, the new one in DC, and y'all, let me tell y'all, like, as I'm watching these videos and you hear them saying, yes, sir, massa, all of that, it really troubled me. Like, it triggered me and troubled me so bad, I cried and said I had to leave. Okay? And then all I could think about was, we still in slavery, but the leash is longer. Because they still use us for entertainment. Remember, they used to sing around and dance around for the people so they could watch and clap. And we still do it now. We're the only race that have all the females half naked in order to sell. Sex only sell in our race. Everybody else say Miley Cyrus sing good. But in our race, you got be twerking and be halfway dressed in order for it to sell, and everything you talk about got to be sex. Only in our culture. And so what I saw was, and then when you got a job, they tell you how much you're worth. You can't tell them pay you more. They tell you how much you're worth. That's still slavery, but the leash just longer. And so then when we come back to these types of conversations, we realizing, like, you gonna tell me that if I choose not to have a baby, that I have to, because you say if I don't, that's attempted murder. But then you sit there and watch the police kill my brother, and it's okay.
That's crazy, right?
That don't make sense. But then my thing of it is, what do we do, or what can we do?
Well,
because
I've always been told.
I've always been told that they are pushing
against abortion so hard because the Caucasian race is wondering.
Yes, because Caucasian women
can't reproduce at the rate as fast as they need to.
Yes, and they're becoming the minority, and that's what scares them. That's the issue. You're right. I don't know if that's the reason, but you're right about the statistic about that. But Caucasian women always had issues reproducing. They were one of the first races where you want to get in vitro and somebody a surrogate and all that. They started that because we push babies out like it's water.
I mean, sure. Black women with surrogates for good.
Yes. I think it's your choice. I think that if we have to be susceptible to any dynamic that you say that we should accept, if we embrace the LGBT community and you want us to embrace it like it's not just it's not something separate from the world, and we say it's okay because they want us to be okay with it, and there's nothing wrong with it, because I think that's choice, that's preference. But then don't try to create one preference and be okay with it, but then on the other side ban it. Because if we have freedom, then let us be free. And if we had choice, then let us choose. But how dare one person push their agenda or their motive on other people to say what's right or wrong?
That's politics. It's been
Yeah,
that.
but
I mean, ultimately, I look at it too. Like I don't get upset about a lot of shit no more because these laws that was made, we wasn't considered equal when these laws. We was considered property. It wasn't created for us. And until the law gets changed, that or until people actually start showing that these laws benefit everybody. I don't trust the legal system. I've said that numerous occasions. Just because for years been able to manipulate and incarcerate and kill all people at such a distorted rate is crazy. So that's my feelings on that. But I understand exactly what you're saying. Though I feel like a woman has a choice; it should be her choice. But that's a whole nother topic. We gotta save this one. We're gonna pocket this one for another day. But ladies, I want to thank y'all for joining me tonight. Again, next week, part 2, we're gonna get into how we can, get through soul ties, or how we come to understand them, because that's going to be my next thing, is understanding soul ties and looking it up and seeing how that works. And again, I would be honored if y'all would join us for the next conversation. And
absolutely, me and my salon be there because that Thursday is my busy day. We gonna chime in the whole salon.
And that's what I want to hear. Exactly.
Yeah, all of us gonna chime in.
And that's what I want to hear, because we live in a time where we should be able to talk about these kind of things, and not feel like it's taboo, or only something women can talk about, or only something men can talk about. I enjoy conversations when it's men and women in the conversation, because you get more different views about it. And again, that's why I say, like, I'm trying, so maybe y'all can help me. And I'm gonna Big Mama too. Y'all can put together a sister section for me, and I'll let y'all host it. And I'll just sit back and listen. Y'all let me know how y'all. Now you can have up to 10 people. So let me know. So with me and Mikey, then like 5 or 6 more people. That's a nice conversation. But yeah, absolutely. But again,
please let me know. You already know.
Absolutely. For all recording purposes. I'm gonna go ahead and end the conversation. And I will see y'all next week.
All right. Y'all have a good evening, ladies. Nice speaking with you. All right, fam. Always a pleasure.
And I'm gonna make sure I post when I make the next flyer so y'all can share it too.
All right, bet. Y'all have a good night.
All right.
So I'm not on social media.
I know you're not
on.
Sundown.
Yeah, so I'm fasting right now, so I'm not on social media until after.
Oh, at all.
No, until after 7 now. My Facebook is gone until April. But yeah, sundown. But my Facebook is gone until April. Tyrone over with.
All right, so then I'll make sure I send you an email instead of trying to send it over.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate y'all, ladies. Thank you.
All right.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
All right. So We got into the soul ties. It was a dope conversation. And I appreciate y'all for joining us. I appreciate the ladies for joining us. Next week, I believe I'm gonna have Big Mama join us. But we're gonna wrap it up for the night. Again, always. I promise you, this week it'll be Tuesday. Or next, I'm gonna talk to the ladies and see if they'll be ready for Tuesday or Thursday, which day will be better. But we going into part 2 of Soul Ties next week. We're gonna talk about understanding them and how to understand them. Appreciate y'all for joining us as always. I'll holler at y'all.